The question that's been posed is, did Jay-Z do Colin Kaepernick wrong at his most recent concert at Yankee Stadium? Now, Jay is facing criticism after a freestyle performance at the stadium, which reignited a year-old conversation about Colin Kaepernick's relationship with the NFL. Now, here's a snippet of Jay rapping a sub, kind of, well, not a sub, really, where he talks about Cap, and then we'll discuss after that.
They run out of characters, had to bring back up Cap again. Buddy took a check, I ain't even mad at him. But along with that check, got a sign of non-disparagement. I'm the one they can't control. Y'all better be glad as him.
So, I think he's alluding to that. I know we all know the Colin Kaepernick story or whatever, but the question I would pose would be this. Does Jay-Z's Kaepernick reference come across as defending his own legacy, or does it make him look defensive about the criticism that has followed him since he partnered with the NFL?
It comes off as defensive.
Defensive?
Yes, on his, because first of all, if these 3 nights are about you and your legacy, do that. But especially now, Colin Kaepernick has continued to do the work, and I've disagreed with the way Colin Kaepernick has handled certain things, since the whole kneeling situation. Yeah. But now is not the time to say anything negative about Colin Kaepernick or to insinuate that he is somehow compromised by the system because he took money as a settlement after suing the NFL. I thought this was a low blow for Jay. I think it was a stain on the 3 nights, on top of, a couple other things that he said. This is not what people in certain positions should do to other people who are doing the work. Yeah. And I the Know Your Rights campaign, I think has done some great things. The fact that Colin Kaepernick, who, I know he's still got a check from Nike, but he's taken that money and put it into certain initiatives that are community based. And I can't say I know each and every one of them, but I've done enough reading to know that he's still out here doing the work. Shout out to Colin Kaepernick. Yeah. Jay-Z, I know you had something on your heart and you tried to get it out, but this was a bad look.
I think it was done in poor taste on Jay-Z's end, considering that he could have even got the whole Target situation line off without actually bringing Kaepernick into it. And I understand that it may be a sore situation for people to always misread what your goal and purpose was as far as doing certain things, especially with the NFL situation with Jay working with them and people not understanding that what he was doing actually went toward helping present reform, helping certain families in certain communities. And Jay has been part of trying to create or actually making change and getting people out of prison and doing things like that. But that shouldn't take away what Kaepernick has done just because you've done the same thing and you're taking a shot to kind of alleviate and clear your name, and somebody is actually working on the same goals as you. So I feel like that was definitely done in poor taste. And I totally understand him addressing the Target situation, because I actually had talked about that on one of the shows, and we had a short about it, about how when it comes to boycotting, if you're not boycotting everything that doesn't stand for your purpose or your moral, so to speak, then you can't be mad at somebody else that's, you know what I'm saying, doing something with an organization that you're not necessarily boycotting. So I understood that part. But yeah, throwing Cap under the bus, so to speak, was kind of a low blow for Jay.
Yeah, I fundamentally disagree with both things, which we've talked about. But to me, this is just Jay-Z trying to... I feel like Jay-Z wants to be liked by the culture very much. And I feel like he's trying to... I don't know if it's like... He's trying to make it seem like he's the one good billionaire. And the way that he's positioning this is kind of in a way that's kind of like, well, hey, see, I do a lot of good things, but even Kaepernick is taking money. And it's like, well, I'm thinking to myself, maybe you don't fully understand the arguments against you if you're going to like harp on somebody who is not a billionaire, who has done more than you have done, with less.
Yep.
In that particular type of way. And then you still feel defensive about it because you're upset about being criticized for being of the billionaire class, which I believe is rightfully so, because you don't become a billionaire without stepping on other people.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah.
And, like, own it or don't say anything.
It came off as in bad taste.
Yeah.
The timing's bad. You could have got other bars off without actually mentioning the Kaepernick situation. I thought it was unnecessary. I don't think this was something that had to be done. It's damn near a reach. It's like, bro, I feel like you were trying to really find some acceptance here by saying that bar to kind of sneak it in real quick and then get by it. Jay is not flawless. He's not, I'm not saying he's flawless or anything. I've never said that, but this wasn't it. This wasn't the move.
But also, he didn't just try to sneak it in. He tried to position himself as if he is the righteous one.
Oh, as it relates to how he
executed
the bar.
He's like, I'm this guy.
That's fair.
That's
fair.
I think what he said, okay, so he said he wasn't mad at him for taking the check or whatnot.
Right.
I don't know if it was to position himself as the righteous one, so to speak.
There's no other reason you would say that.
I think it was just to kind of take the smoke off of himself.
Nah, bro.
I don't think it was to say that one is more righteous than the other. I think it was trying to say that Cap is doing what he's supposed to do or you know what I'm saying?
And I'm a little infallible and so is he.
Yeah. That's what I think it was.
But I think,
feel like it was nah, man. I feel like he said that as it's like I'm poking at it. Like I don't know if he really is vouching for.
Now the part where he was like, I'm the one that they can't control.
Right.
Now I think that was something that was more so like I can shake and move how I want in this climate, regardless of the outcome. Blah blah blah. Because I control my own destiny.
And I can do, and I've been doing the things that I do, and they can't control me. Again, I guess is where, like, if you put the whole bar in perspective together as it leads to one thing, it feels like at the very end, he's like, the things that you think that you're doing, I'm doing, and I do it at a higher scale.
They can't control me while I'm doing it, but they can control you.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, you are, like, he's not, like, again, there are people like me. He's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Like, he does some good things.
Yeah.
But, like.
Yeah. And in the same token, he was trying to give himself peace by saying, I've gotten people out of prison. Yep. I've done this. Yeah. I do this.
All
I
those
do
things
this.
are great.
Which is great.
And in the same breath, and this is the part I did understand because I see this all the time, a bunch of online activists who have a lot to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, although he's saying that he laughs at them, it still bothers him that they would look at him as somebody who himself would consider, I'm in position and I feel like I use my position for good for you to get online and talk shit about me. And I'm still doing more than what you can do because you're online being an activist.
You know what?
You praise what Kaepernick is doing, but I'm doing the same thing, but they can't control me. So in that sense, yeah. And I just feel like it was unnecessary for him to use Kaepernick in that same breath to explain his position because he could have did all of that without bringing up that situation.
I think what gets lost. Go ahead, Lon. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, and I'll bring this question up here in a second. And I feel like what it articulated to me is that, and I'm not meaning to downplay him at all, but it almost felt like he doesn't understand why he's being criticized sometimes.
You talking about Jay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guarantee you he doesn't. I mean, that's not a play on his intelligence but it is I talked about it a few weeks ago. I said he is in a billionaire's bubble.
Yeah.
Okay. There are just certain things that don't hit him. And when they do hit him, it hits him in the wrong way. And that is if you can say that he's a victim of his success in that way, because when you hear criticism, you're like, well, wait a minute. Well, what about this? Yeah. And like, and the people who criticize and you're like, yeah, what about that?
Exactly.
I feel like as a billionaire or, someone that has, a huge amount of money, you're so far disconnected from reality that certain things just may go past you because you haven't been in reality from a world standpoint in so long. But he's
not with the common folk.
There you go. But I also think that sometimes we lose sight of the fact that billionaires are still human.
So
I'm not shooting bail. What I'm saying is, yeah, he watches stuff.
I see what you're saying.
He still hears things.
Yeah, we know Elon Musk pays attention.
Bro, there are people.
He bought an entire social platform because he's so insecure.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, they're still human.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to get triggered by certain things that people send him as it goes through 12 people to get through to him. They're still human. Right?
Well, remember when it was he was sat down with Kevin Hart and he talked about how, there have been times where like he's just trying to see his family and everybody's pulling him aside. It's like, man, I could take $3,000 and flip it into $100,000.
Oh yeah, his cousin or whatever.
Like there are people who thought it was callous of him to say how he wouldn't give his cousin $3,000. Now I think he was just making an example.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was an actual situation, but even though I talk about the billionaire bubble, I'm like, okay, he's trying to tell you, he's like, look, I'm just coming to grandma's house for a family dinner. I don't want to hear your proposals, because you think you can change your life if I give you $3,000 that you can flip into $100,000 in 2 months. And so that's the only time I can shoot him a little bail and have some empathy. But like I said, what he did with Colin Kaepernick, I think was it was in poor taste.
Yeah, I agree.
That's exactly what there's no way around that part. And even as a Jay-Z fan, I can admittedly say that was done in poor taste.
Yeah.
And again, you don't have to agree with everything that somebody does to still appreciate what they've brought into the culture of the game. So, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people that will stand on this one thing and just be like, I'm completely done. I've had enough.
Yeah.
You can kind of say, well, because we just talked about Kanye West.
Yeah.
And I'll say the reason I would not go to Kanye West, even though it's only right up the road, that's cumulative.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I don't feel like I'm being any type of hypocrite by saying I don't like what Jay-Z did here. And there are certain things like I've been critical of, I think the thing that's going to haunt him for the rest of his life is we're beyond kneeling.
Yeah.
Man.
That's going to be something that
and because it was done in a way that he didn't address it the proper way. And it's behind being in that billionaire bubble, so to speak.
Yeah, I just don't think he understood what he was saying.
He shouldn't have led with that.
Yeah.
What he should have led with is what he intends to do with that position.
Right.
And you can read everything that he pretty much signed and made the NFL have to be liable for or pay for and donate to behind him working with them. So what he did was very good, but what he said
in that moment was bad.
Was not it.
Yeah, because I don't know if you guys pay attention to the journalist. His name is Bomani Jones.
Oh yeah, I like.
He
Bomani.
had an HBO show that ran for a couple of seasons. I thought was great. And in it, they basically broke down how, for less of like a better term, how woke the NFL is secretly.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these things were based in initiatives that Jay-Z came up with. Now, if you didn't see that show, you're like, oh, I didn't know that. And I can't break them all down here because, I don't have photographic memory like that.
Yeah.
But it's once again, that doesn't excuse, your poor judgment in other places. And I can't shoot you a whole lot of bail. I can shoot you a little because you are in a billionaire's bubble and you just don't quite understand what it is when everything that you do as far as your everyday life is curated and, you're behind like,
it's not scripted because he wouldn't have said that if it was scripted.
It's scripted, yeah.
I'm talking about how he moves throughout the course of the, y'all talking about,
just
like, I got to confuse.
Yeah,
I
if I said, I knew Jay-Z and I had his phone number, if I just called him randomly on a Tuesday, I guarantee you there's, his Outlook calendar or whatever it is he uses is completely full every day for, his entire life.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have that thing to where he understands real life. Like he sees it on TV, but, he probably has 10 security guards and you got to get buzzed in. Like you're not going to get next to Jay-Z. And that's not how most people live. And so like things don't reach you in the same way that it would reach you or me.
Yeah.
It also doesn't add to your case of being able to reaching that he's married to Beyonce.